Hi guys, I'm Danny, and I started a Sunday gym because I've noticed lately that people tend to go to colleges and universities without actually knowing why they're there. And afterwards, starting jobs that are unfulfilling. So I'm interviewing different professionals to see what they have to say and share their knowledge and experience with you. I hope you enjoy it. How are you doing?
I am hanging in there. I'm doing fabulous, actually. Are we actually starting now?
Yeah,
Sorry,
we
Denny.
have already.
We
Don't
are.
worry about it.
Yeah,
No.
I'm doing absolutely fabulous. Just came back from a nice vacation to Hawaii, so I am recharged and ready to pour into so many people now.
Sweet. I'll be going on vacation. I'm always going the third week of July and the second week of August. That's
Oh,
the magical time for me. I love it.
that is nice, nice.
Now, the program will be focused on three main questions. What do you do for a living? How did you get there? And how did you know that this was the way to go? So, tell us what you do for a living, please.
Yeah, so essentially, I am a certified master mindset and manifestation coach that works with high driven or high ambitious women and solopreneurs to move them from burnout to balance and purpose to profit. So essentially, I get into all of the things to help you reset your money mindset, rewire your beliefs, release limiting beliefs and things like that that's holding you back. Many times, a lot of my clients are already successful, maybe in their field or whatnot, but what they're doing isn't quite resonating with them, or they haven't leveled up to where they feel confident, where they feel like they can live the life they want to live and not the life that others have told them to live. So that's essentially what it is that I do now. Yeah.
Ridiculously important. I had an example. You know, when you see someone who's like smart kid, uh, but just in the wrong place. I used to work for HPE for a few years. And there was this guy. He was really smart, like really smart, but he hated it. And I, because he was pretty much assigned to me. I said, okay, listen, what are you doing here? You know you're not supposed to be here. My mother wanted me to work for HP company. I'm like, well, why don't you call your mama here? I mean, she seems more interested, and I don't mind teaching her that, but I'm losing my time with you. You're losing your. And he actually, some months later, he left. From what I know, at LinkedIn, he's been a technician, an elevator technician ever since. Pretty much almost 10 years. So that's
Wow.
absurdly easy, absurdly important. It's not easy to get there. You have to swallow pride sometimes. I was in that situation. You have to swallow pride to acknowledge that this isn't for you. So were you walking the street one day and you were like, "Let me be a coach about that," or did something?
Absolutely not. So, of course, I grew up during a time where it was very important for you to go to college. And
Yeah.
so, in my family, I think at the time before my mom decided to go back to college at 40, I would have been the first one in my family, between the two of them to graduate from college or, yeah, finish up. And so it was like, be a doctor, be a lawyer. And I was really, really smart in science and math.
Yeah.
Went to a magnet school specifically for it was one of the best in my cities, and excelled. So I thought, okay, well, I'll be a doctor. I go to school, be an attorney or whatever. Chances are I'll be a doctor. I thought gynecologist at the time or anesthesiologist, and I always knew though, Denny, that I wanted to be in business, right?
Yeah.
So I knew that as a little girl. There were things that I'd done to create and generate income and to help others, even as a little girl. But yet, that pressure, from family that this is the best thing to do for you to be successful was there. So, of course, I went to college, majored in pre med, did all the things, got into some science classes, and I was like, I'm so sick and tired of science. We did so much in high school that by the time I hit college, I was like, I don't know if I can do another 8 years. Like 8 years, obviously, to go 4 years undergrad and then of course, post for medical. And I was sitting in a biology class and I said, you know what, this isn't for me. this really isn't for me. I don't want to do this. And then my dad was always in my ear about being a physical therapist. Now, at the time, physical therapy was hot on the scene, brand new. And he had a physical therapist from where he fell off the roof. So he's like, it's a great career. You should go into that. Did that. And the college I went to at the time lost their accreditation. And they were the only ones accredited in the state. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a gap year, is what they call it today.
Yeah.
Then it was like, I'm gonna take some time off. So I took some time off to regroup and still had that feeling from family that I should be in the medical field. So I looked at pharmacy because you're always looking at money, right? You're always
I know.
making money the primary thing, like this is going to give you a lot of money, a better life, which if there is anything wrong with that. I admire people who can just do something for the money and get the job done. For me, I'm more of a passion first and the money comes. So went down the pharmacy path, and in the midst of that I said, you know what, I'm going to do what I want to do, because at this point I was a little bit older, and I just decided if I'm going to live this life, I need to live the best life for me. And so business was what it was. I went back to college, got my business administration degree, loved it, loved
Yeah.
everything that I did. Already had started a business before I finished up my degree, a very successful business. It was a commercial janitorial service. And then, of course, started another business. Excuse me. So being an entrepreneur is in my blood. That's who I am. I am a creator. I'm an entrepreneur. I love that road. I love that journey. And from there, what I found was that people would constantly ask me questions. How do you do this? How are you able to, just think so positive? Like, how do you see the world this way? Can you help me with my business? That's what led me into the coaching space, because I found myself coaching before I realized I was actually a coach. I found myself helping people fulfill their dreams from an entrepreneurial journey, or move from a corporate setting per se to actually pursue the things that they've always wanted to pursue. So that's how I got here. I got here that way. I can't say or tell you that it was an easy road. I did spend 10 years in the corporate world, project manager certified, all of the things, all of the things. But I have found that those paths have actually helped me with my entrepreneurial journey as well as my coaching journey, because it allows me to step into the shoes of a lot of my clients to understand what they've been dealing with, and of course where they want to go, and help them release those limiting beliefs. So yeah, that's how I got here. Long
That's
story.
quite remarkable. In all fairness, it's not supposed to be easy. I don't want to discourage people. I don't want to sound like a like a cruel man or something, but it is what it is. It's not supposed to be easy.
Yeah.
I I really love the fact that you actually mentioned that ever since you were a child, you already knew that. Now, I'm not imposing anything. I'm an Orthodox Christian, so in my belief, we've always had a teacher within. And that teacher within is always right. So,
Mhm.
and I knew what I was going to do for a living since I was 14, 15. At 16, I already was certain. Everyone around me were like that, and we're still doing it. It's what we do. And very late on in life, I actually found out that I was in the minority. I went into a very, very solid company full with a lot of smart people, very educated, very talented, perfect place to be and grow. And when I started asking, this was supply chain and finance, something I've been doing since the beginning of my career. Then I started asking, so what do you do? What you went to college for, and so on. I was a journalist. I was a physician. I was what the heck, Lord. So it was quite crazy, and that's when I found out. Okay, so maybe it's just this one place, but because I talked to a lot of people from all over the world, it's been like that forever, and I started asking about it. So that's why I actually made this whole program, because people are losing. I know you're from the States, so things are different over there. But here in the EU, if you get into that, you can pretty much lose like 5 years of your life for something you're not going to need. From what I understand, it's even worse in the States because you guys are actually spending money on this.
Yes.
We don't. I went to a private college full private, no tuition, nothing. I worked as a bartender, and 60 or 70% of my monthly salary was the whole semester. So I paid for the whole thing in the private college. My master's degree was from Denmark, so it was free. I didn't pay anything. And it's like that. This is how we are structured. But my father and my parents have always been like that, like me. So you know what's best for you. Ever since I was a kid, I wasn't, allowed to act crazy, but about that kind of things. So my father always said, study what you want, do what you want for a living. I just want you to learn a type of job that you can work even if there's no electricity.
Hmm.
So I became a bartender. This is like a safety net. Let's say something happens, you're always going to need a good bartender around here. It's just
Hmm. It's
something.
a recession-proof industry in the recession-proof industry. So absolutely.
Yeah. But that aside, it's a funny story, but that aside, it's a serious problem. And you did cover a little bit of that. I love the fact that you actually went there when you're already a full-grown adult. This was not an impulsive decision. But that aside, you've already had a lot of experience. You knew a lot of people. You were aware of the situation around you. You could have chosen any number of things, and you would have still been able to excel in them. But you went with that one. Why?
I went with that one. You mean like as far as
The
the
finance.
business path,
Yeah.
the business path that I went?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went with that one because it was just time out. It was time out for playing games with myself. It was time out for me
Yeah, you
living.
always lose those.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
lose them. And when you're living your life based on other people's dreams for themselves, right? And
Yeah.
so I was mature enough to recognize that and then take action. It's so hard, Denny, and you've probably seen this. It's so hard for people to let go of pleasing others
Oh yeah.
and to do the things that they want to do for themselves. So for me, it was just like I was just ready. It was a bold move. And I said, this is what I've always wanted to do. This is what I'm going to do. And I will make it work and it will be successful for me because it was in me as a child. So I didn't have the doubts. You are right about the states as far as college, the cost of college, and things like that. I was, of course, one of the ones that I would say lucky enough, or we would say smart enough, that I had a full scholarship, excuse me, to go to school. And so I didn't have to worry about paying for my college education, excuse me, or I had very little student debt. Is that right? A student loan debt per se. And that was helpful. That was really helpful. But a lot of people don't. So they're coming out with 40, 60, $100,000 and in debt easily. And they're not even working in their field.
Exactly. And that's the
I that is the problem. And I love education. I love school. I'm a reader. I love getting information and things like that. But a friend of mine, we were talking about how just going to college here in the States, at least, it's like it is the one thing they would say it's kind of a scam. I'm not going to go quite that far. I'm not going to go quite that
you
far,
can
but
say
it's a
what you want
scam.
on the channel as long as I didn't say it, they can ban me.
Yeah. But it is an interesting path in the sense that you actually pay to go to school, 40, $60,000.
That's a
There's
lot of
no
money.
guarantee. There's no guarantee that you're going to get a job. There's no guarantee that you're going to make that money back or that you're even going to obviously work in that field. And yet you come out still paying all those loans for some people for the rest of their lives or until they're in the ground and never get it paid off. And so it's like what do you actually do where you invest like this so heavily and don't get a return? For some
One thing
people,
because I found about that when I started the channel. I didn't know about that before. I,
yeah.
I started taking loans when I was 25. Like I'm talking serious loans. And so far I'm 34. I hate houses. I like apartments because they're smaller, easier to maintain, and I'm a lazy man. And so far, I have bought 3 apartments, 3 storage rooms, and 2 parking slots. Every single time I go to the bank, I have to prepare everything. What I own so far, what I have. God forbid something bad happens to me, who can back me up? People that have signed that they are willing to back me up. Those were my parents in my case. Uh, why do I want the loan? How much money am I going to make from that? So that the bank can know, okay, we're gonna give you the money, but you better be paying every month.
That's right.
And that's how it is. And you know, I'm okay with it. I'm not against banks. I'm not against those institutions. I didn't have the money. They gave me the money, but I didn't have anything. I've paid so much so far everything. But you know, it makes sense. But you know, for me to come to you and then you can have X amount of money, and I don't care how you're gonna pay it back, but you will. What happens if you can? But
Right. I mean, literally right. And what I love what you said, what you just said was essentially you had to come to the bank with a plan.
yeah,
Even with my
very solid one.
business, any loans, I've had to have some type of plan and then be approved. And with our college education, what really needs to happen, if that's the path kids are wanting to go down, is they need to have a plan.
Yeah,
They need to have to present a plan and be approved per se, not approved to get into college, but approved for what it is they want to do. And, obviously that's never going to happen because these are big institutions. This is big money. This is it is what it is. But what I want people to know is that, you know, there are so many other things that you can do with your life. And the biggest one is listening to the voice within. I'm very similar to you. I am raised Christian, and I believe the voice within, the divine God, things come to you. And a lot of us know intuitively what it is that we want to do. And I say, go for that. Go for that. And if you are a little bit on the fence, you can take the path that I took. Go to college, experience all these different things, because all it's going to do is lead you more to where you're supposed to be. It's up to you to listen.
pretty good.
Listen to what it is. Yeah, listen to what it is and don't be afraid to do that thing. But there is more than one path for your life, and college isn't necessarily it. For some it is, for others it's not. And that is okay. It is okay.
I agree, because I love your smile a lot. It's a lovely smile. I'm gonna tell you a story. Over the years I got close with the bank manager that I've been taking loans from. So we went out to grab a beer one time, and I said, "What are you going to do if I actually die?" Because at this point, I don't even need anyone to back me up. I have a portfolio, a dossier.
Mm.
So when I go there, they pretty much know everything about me. And when I took the loan to buy this establishment here, I said, "What are you going to do, God forbid, if I die?" "Ah, don't worry about it, Danny. I will cremate you, and you will work as an hourglass until the end." Ow! Dark. I'm pretty sure he was going to anyway.
It is
No,
so funny. I mean,
it
it's
is. I
interesting.
mean,
I was going to say it's really interesting. So in my world, and being a certified mindset and manifestation coach, when I talk about money, I tell people, kind of teach them the history of money. Before there were dollars and coins and gold, there was spices, there was rice, there was always something else. And it's really about the value that we've put on said item. And so money at the end of the day, for me, is energy. It's energy. They're literally burning money. They're shredding money. So the only reason why money, paper money, has the value that it has is because we've placed the value on it. We've all bought into it. At the end of the day, if something happens to you, you can't pay your house, can't pay your bill, and you die or whatever it may be, guess what? Chances are they're going to be just fine. They're
oh
going to
yeah,
print some more money. Something else is going to come up. Things will keep moving. So if you move your focus away from, the stress of money,
yeah,
and understand that there is more than enough out here. Money is energy. You can draw it to you. You can repel it based on your thoughts, your mindset,
yeah.
but know that it's always abundant and available. in whatever it is that you want to do. I went to a game, a basketball game, professional basketball game, and their halftime show, they have, different things going on. And I'm sitting there, and I don't know if where you all played a game called Simon Says. Do you know what that is?
I know what it is because I have a 15-year-old niece, but I've never played it myself. But yeah, I know.
Okay. All right. It's a very basic game. You play it as a child. Simon Says, touch your nose. Simon Says, touch your head. Touch your head. And you touch your head and you're out because Simon didn't say it, right? All right. So I'm at this game, halftime show, and they're like, welcome to the court, master of Simon Says. And I'm thinking, you have got to be kidding me. There's a whole person that has taken the game, Simon Says, and created a business around it. He is now in all professional arenas across the country, performing and doing corporate workshops, doing retreats off of Simon Says.
Pretty
You
good.
can't tell me that you can't do anything and make a living and enjoy what it is that you want to do. I met a Santa Claus. That's all he and his wife does is every year for about 3 or 4 months, they're Mrs. and Mrs. Claus. That is literally their life, and they love it and they do well at it.
Heard they had
So,
a good deal with Coca-Cola, though.
what did you say?
I heard they had a pretty good deal with Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I mean, Santa, that Santa does, and the polar bears.
Yeah.
But it was just really amazing. So when you think about money, I just tell people it is just energy. You
Yeah.
don't have to make it your primary thing. I know what our society, at least here in the States, says that it is the ultimate sign of success, but I tend to disagree with that. Success is all of the things that you value in your life as far as your quality of life, your harmony, living the life that you want, being in alignment with your family, being in alignment with yourself, understanding who you are, being a good human being. Those to me are the benchmarks for success. Money is just extra. It allows us to do more of the things that we want to do, help more of the people that we want to help, but it's just energy and you can
No,
always
I
get.
agree 100%. I know a lot, like a lot of middle class people that are happy. I'm one of them.
Yeah.
And I know not a lot, but some people that have tremendous access to power, politics, huge amount of monies. They own huge houses with swimming pools that they themselves have never been in, and they're miserable. And yeah, that's not like it's not even a deal with the devil. The devil's actually a competent deal maker. I don't like the devil, but he's from what I can see from
He's
history,
very smart.
he
Yep.
is smart. He would never recommend you do something that stupid. He plays the long game. So I don't know what kind of demon they made a deal with, but probably a low-ranking official somewhere. Now, Nat, I have a fourth question. I never put it in the invitation because I love the reaction. If you, my audience is mostly made of people that are wondering, is this job for me? Is this university for me? Am I on the right path? If you can go give those people one advice, what will it be?
I would tell them I don't want to sound woo woo, but I'm telling you that it works. What I would do if you are asking yourself those questions and you're still not coming up with the answer is I would sit down for 10 or 15 minutes, close my eyes, take a deep breath, and I want you to access the voice within or access the divine and ask the question. You can ask it out loud or you can ask it using your inside voice. Is this the path for me? Should I be going to university? Whatever it may be. And that answer that pops up, the first answer, without you second guessing, it just will either flash, it'll come into your head. That is your answer. Your intuition does not lie. Your
I love it.
intuition doesn't lie. So that's what I would say for them to help them get a little bit clear on what it is they want to do or the path they should take. And then from there, just start researching and moving in that direction. I know that, might not be the the answer that people are looking for, but
It's
that's what
pretty
I
good.
do. And it
Uh,
hasn't it hasn't failed me.
Absolutely hasn't failed anyone that I know of. There's a very famous German philosopher. I love reading his articles. He's on YouTube. His name is Eckhart Tolle.
Oh, I
I
love Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah, but I can't listen to him because this is just way too much this German accent for me. I love the Germans, the German people, culture, everything about, but I can't now. Like if
It's
he's
hard.
just talking, speaking German, that's fine. But when he switched to, my accent's pretty heavy too, but it's not like that. It just hits me in the ear every time. But I love his articles, and that's exactly what it's like calling it the silent prayer, just sitting
Mhm.
and observing, and what once you're quiet and observing and still, your answers will arrive in a matter. And this sounds cruel, but it really isn't. I was thankful for COVID because we were moving way too fast, and when everything stopped, I was actually able to see a lot of things in me that I didn't like. They were not good things. They were actually very bad habits,
Mhm.
surroundings, people that I called friends. And when I stopped down, I was able to, reflect on what's happening. And oh, well, this has to change. Well, otherwise, I will not end well. And so, yeah, slow down. I love it. Yeah. So I agree with you
Yeah,
100%.
it works, and I think COVID did that for a lot of people. It allowed you to reset and get clear on who you are and what it is you want. And people need to know that it doesn't take a COVID situation for
No,
you to tap into that. You can tap into that anytime, and change your course, change your journey. And it doesn't matter how far you're into something, it's never too late. It's never too late. So, yeah, that's that's what I would let your audience know. Yeah.
I love it. I love everything about it. And with that said, Natalie, thanks for being with me. Talking with you was an absolute joy.
Thank you so much, Denny. I enjoyed this so much. I really did. I hope we can do it again. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the podcast releasing and helping anyone in your audience that has any issues with getting on the right path.
Absolutely. Send me the links.
Okay.
Right
Thank
on.
you.
Guys, I hope this one was useful. Please follow the channel on YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, Gap, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Ring the bell and all the good stuff. Have a nice week ahead, and I'll see you next Sunday.